Kevin Richards here from Rock the Stage NYC on YouTube, going live from the studio. I'm going to give you a quick live singing lesson for those of you who happen to jump on board the next 10 or 15 minutes while I do this. What I'm going to go into is a little bit of phonetics in terms of how you can use phonetics to help you sing your songs or even sing notes, and how you can kind of use this to kind of tone shape your sound. So we're going to show you a very basic vowel shape. We'll use the shape of ah. We'll go right here, right? I'll use the sound of, say, like ma. We'll go ma 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 ma. Now if we do ma, M-U-H, ma 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 ma, you can hear the tone shift just on the phonetics themselves, just the different vowel shape. One is darker, one is brighter. Ma 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 ma. That's very bright, very resonant. Ma 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 ma. Darker, right? More of a speech level exercise type of thing. If I do me, 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 me. Another bright vowel. Moo, moo, right? Moo, 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 moo. Dark vowel. What we can do now is we can take these basic phonetic vowel shape sounds and kind of intermix them to kind of help balance out your sound. So what I'm going to do here is this. Take ma, but think moo, right? So ma 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 by itself. Now I'm going to think moo in my head. A little bit of a Jedi Mind Trick. Ma 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 ma. A little bit darker, even more. I'm going to think muh. Ma 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 ma. It becomes a darker, bright vowel, so to speak. Now if I take something like love, the word love. Love, 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 love. It's a very dark, round word, love. You got a v, right? Love, it's a dark word. I'm going to think or I while I sing this. Love, 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 love. It brightens it, it opens up. I've reshaped the vowel slightly. I haven't modified it. I'm not singing love. Love, 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 which is a splatty. Yech. It's kind of, I want the word love. Love, 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 love. Think love, 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 love. I don't need to think It's already a dark word, love. I want to think the opposite vowel sound. So a bright vowel sound. Love, 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 love. It brightens, it opens the vowel. I don't need to modify that vowel. I can just tonal shape it. Similar to what you do if you were kind of mixing vocals for a recording. You would kind of brighten the vocal a little bit to kind of give it, maybe open it up, give it a little more clarity, have it kind of fit in the mix more, sit in the mix better. This is what we're trying to do. This is really, really good for live singing. If you're singing something low in your register, maybe even with a lot of dark words, and it's not cutting through the mix or with the instrumentation around you, is you can kind of brighten the sound or the tonality of your voice simply by thinking a certain vowel in your head. What happens here is this kind of a weird thing that goes on with your brain, is if you're telling it to physically sing one sound, but you're thinking a different sound, your brain tries to do those two sounds at once. And what happens is it starts to shape the throat into the alternate sound you're thinking from the thing that you're actually physically doing. So when I do this, so you sing the phonate through the dark vowel first. Love, 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 love. There's a certain feeling of how that feels in your throat. It has a throatier, lower larynx, dampened larynx kind of feel. Love, 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 right? There's a certain sensation to that feels a certain way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that feeling in my throat when I sing a brighter sound like hi. If I don't do it, it sounds like this. Hi, 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 hi. Very edgy, very forward sounding. If I duplicate that love, love, love in my throat while I sing hi, you get this sound. Hi, 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 hi. Much fuller, much rounder, more mouthy sounding. So this is a good way to add depth. Now, if I have something like dark, if I'm singing the word darkness, right? Down here, like darkness, darkness, right? It's really dark, darkness. If I do it more like a bass, so darkness, right? It needs edge to have clarity. Otherwise, it's darkness. It's very dull, throaty. Darkness. Now, I'm not necessarily adding pharyngeal to that. Darkness. It would take all the bass out. Darkness. I'm going to keep the round bassiness of the word, the dark, the timbre of it. Timbre, whatever way you have to say it. But add the added resonance on top. So everything here is in addition to, not instead of. See how this works? So if I go up really high, let's say up here, I go up to the A here, right? And say I have the word high. And it's popping, cracking, high. I don't have enough compression. How do I get enough compression? Well, I don't want to grab high. It becomes labored, it becomes forced. It sounds strangled. So what I do is I think while I sing high. High. It adds a little bit more compression. I've got a little bit more of a dampened larynx, creating a little bit of a thicker sound. The throat goes into an position, but is singing high on top. Again, in addition to, not instead of. I don't want to replace this with this and end up with, high, this dark, swallowed, which way did he go kind of sound. I want to EQ it so it has a bit more meat to it. High. Now that's the essence of classical singing. Contemporary, F to F sharp. Very neutral sound. If I do the classical, dampen the larynx, get more throat, and that it turns into this. A more classical, dark, timbre, meatier sound. You can take that up. I'm no classical singer, but that is the essence of how they get a classical sound. Is a lot of larynx dampening, a lot of darkness in the throat. Throaty, it's not chesty, it's throaty. To a B flat. That's why when you sing a tenor, sing a high C in that big, powerful voice, people are like, because that's really hard to do. And if you watch them do it, they sing this high C, and it's like, and they look in their face like, thank God I got through that. Because it's really hard to do in that big, loud, beefy sound. Because it's high unless you're a really high male tenor. Someone who talks like this, that high C is an easy note, but they can't put a lot of weight or beefiness in that note. They can sing it easily, but it doesn't carry a lot of darkness to it. So this is how we can shape. Now, take that. Take a word like distant, right? Dark. But then you have the st, which breaks the sound. Then you have ant, dark, distant. Take the D at the front. That's your compression point. D. Pull that compression, that dark compression of the D through the whole word. Distant. Darkness. Distant. Distant. Right? If you don't, it gets distant. The ST in the middle breaks your compression. It unvoices the phonation. Because is unvoiced. It's through the teeth. Right? So, distant. It's two separate sounds. Brush over or kind of gloss over the st and keep the d through the ant. Distant. Darkness. The K is there, but not really. Darkness. Because the K, again, cuts the phonation off. Dark. I'm not really voicing any sound. Then ness. Darkness. Now your brain puts that together as darkness, even though the K isn't really present. These are some of the phonation tricks you can do to help you sing words. Questions? Hello. Okay. Hello back, young fellow. There. So this was, I'm going to go into this particular lesson about phonetics. The other thing to do is you can use phonetic sounds in your vocal exercises to help you learn how to get over these kind of phonetic hurdles. Standard 5-tone scale here, right? Most people would have you go through. If you're the sort of contemplative school, it's the la-a, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But this la, nice. But, good day. From Sydney, Australia. How back at you. So, that's, yeah, it's like, it's really early in the morning there for you. You can't yodel. What should you do? Well, a yodel is, sorry, I'm just really small screens. I gotta kind of have to lean in and read those. So I'm not trying to do a Kevin's House of 3D here. So, yodeling is an intentional glottal flip. Right, this yodeling, that kind of thing. It's a oh, you can do it. Okay. I thought maybe you just mistyped. But you want to sing blues. Okay, you're pretty good at it. It's, a lot of people can do it. Yeah, 9:45 in the morning. It's really early in the morning there for you guys down there down under. Okay, so yodeling, but you want to do blues. There's not really a lot of yodeling in bluesy. But you can use that kind of a little bit of a glottal flip to feign fake emotion. You know? When you're singing the blues, right? Singing the blues. You put that little bit of a cry in there. That's a little bit of an intentional vocal break. Similar to a yodel, you just don't jump the octave. You just don't jump the octave, you jump less. What are you going to do to change your tone to be brighter? I said that earlier in the video, if you go back and read the replay. Your tone to be brighter is to think a bright vowel while you're singing, right? If I have the word new, now new is a dark word, n-oo, right? It has an N, and it has an oo sound, so it's a dark word, new, right? If I think, Hank Williams Senior country, old school country, which is a bit more, yodeling-ish kind of do. Right, so if I have a word like new, I'll just kind of reiterate for this person here. Tone brighter. If I'm singing something like new, if I want to be brighter then, that old country. Which is kind of, it's a yodeling, but it's also what they call a glottal flip. Which is this kind of talking it is want to know. I actually have a video. Go back on my YouTube channel. Here, look at the videos. I actually did a video on some country twang, which is kind of country twang, that kind of thing. I did a video on this. You can actually check out my channel. I think it's, I forget who's the thumbnail. I think it's Vince Gill or somebody. Just do a search in my videos for country twang, and the video will come up for you. I think I put Vince Gill as the thumbnail. I think somebody in a cowboy hat. So. You can look it up. Stop break cracking when singing higher. Compression is how you do this. I actually said this earlier. If you add a little bit of weight to the vowel weight to the notes, it adds a little bit more thickness or compression. You can actually use your phonetics to do this. Like if I go up higher like this, if I'm singing like va, right? Va, right? If that cracks, va, I've lost compression somewhere. The vocal cord doesn't know how to hang on as it stretches, and it just pops open. You get this kind of, it kind of breaks apart, right? So try to go through that area where you're starting to crack with just a low vowel sound like So if I do it like here, they go The vowel sound itself adds compression. Lower larynx makes a slightly thicker sound. And you get the feeling of what the compression is like. Right? Now I take a bright sound and I apply that feeling of the to the bright sound. So if I take the cantamplin la, right? The normal sound would be la. Very open, very spread, very easy to have that fall apart on you because there isn't a lot of compression. So if I think put my throat in an position while I sing la, it's going to thicken and strengthen the compression level of that bright sound. So la, 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 and there's a high C. Now if I don't do that, if I do the straight la, it's susceptible to breaking open because it's la. It's very light. It's very thin. It's not a lot of thickness. If I think la, it lengthens. What I call lengthens the sound. It makes the sound taller. You're dampening the larynx down. You're getting it to come down a little bit. There's a little bit more of this downward compression feeling, but you're not changing la into la, which is one of the things that Ken talks about. It's this kind of change la into and then back open into again. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do la to get through the break. You don't have to darken. You can continue the la all the way through. La if you do the throat position. Learn to stretch your vocal cords. Reinforced falsetto. Kind of a he's a bluesy with a singing range. Advancing singing range is a step-by-step process because you can't try to push vocal range too quickly because your voice has to be ready for it. You can expand somebody's range quickly, but it's going to be very light and very thin because you're just kind of trying to getting the stretch from the vocal cord without a lot of added weight or compression to it. So, but that's okay. But it's not going to be a usable range. I can get that with people who can't go past like an F sharp here, F sharp. I can get them to do a high C up here, but it's going to be really thin and really light. But I just want to get them over that hurdle to the stretch, just to get the vocal cord actually stretched there. And to let their brains kind of know that they can sing a note this high and nothing's going to happen. They're not going to choke or anything like that. So we start light and then you slowly, as the coordination becomes more relaxed, easier to do, you can then start to add more weight to those words. So most of my students start out when they start doing high C down like this. It's very light. It's like this. Over time, they learn to do where it sounds like it has the same tonal quality as their lower notes. But that takes time. You can't force range. Okay. You just kind of blast it through an A4. Yeah, volume should be a choice to sing a note. It shouldn't be a necessity. You should have the option to be able to do that A4 at a belt range, at a normal volume range, and at a light range, and have it all be connected and full voice, Yeah! 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 You should be able to have that. It's my choice to sing it louder. Now I used to be that way. I can relate. The only way I used to be able to get up to a B flat was to basically just yell it. That's the only way I could do it. I had no choice. And my second teacher was the one who was like, no, that sounds okay. You can get away with that. But you have no dynamic control of that note. You can only blast it. You want to be able to sing that note, these notes, at any volume. So we basically, square one, be able to do this note really lightly and then build up the volume gradually. Because I already knew how to do the big note, so that was not a problem. It's learning how to build to that big note and be able to kind of stop anywhere in between, if this makes sense, you know? Now, I should be able to stop anywhere along that line and sustain that volume. I can stop anywhere. I have that kind of dynamic control. And that's kind of what you want. Blasting an A4 is okay, it's a start, but you want to be able to back off that volume and still maintain the quality of the sound. Strong mix. I was wondering what else needed to have a well-established. Well, it's kind of a loaded question because it's all dependent on the type of music that you're singing, the way that you're singing now. It's like I said, it's there's no really one answer to that. There are several different ways you can approach that. The way that I approach it is starting with the smaller sound first, getting the coordination correct. It's kind of like when you first go into the gym, you start out with just like the bar to lift weights, because the bar has some weight to it. But you just kind of get the feel, and if you have like a personal trainer, he'll say, okay, we're just going to put the bar in your hands, and I'm going to show you the correct way to say, do a certain movement with the weight. Get the coordination right, the movement right? So that you're not like let's say like a simple little movement like this with a bar, right? With a dumbbell bar, right? So with a barbell, or even just with a single dumbbell with just one hand, right? You don't like swing it up. You don't lean back and pull it up. You don't jerk it up and jerk it down. You want a nice smooth up and smooth down. Sometimes locking the elbow against the body, so it's just pivoting here. That's the basic coordination. You want to get that first. And then you start to add weight and make sure that you're keeping that same basic coordination. You're not leaning back, you're not jerking it. That's how it's more effective. So in terms of strengthening the voice, it's actually, or to make it sound bigger, you actually have to take it back a whole bunch of notches to where it's a smaller voice, a lighter voice, an easier voice to sing with. Get the coordinations correct, where they're flowing and relaxed and smooth and balanced, and then you can start to add more weight, give it more work. You don't try to slam a whole bunch of work at it first if the coordination isn't correct. So that's one of my other videos that I have here is don't sing high notes. How to sing high notes is really don't try to sing high notes right away. Work on your middle and lower ranges first. Get the coordinations correct. Because how you sing this, the setup to sing that is the same as this. How I'm breathing, how the vocal cords are coming together are similar. I'm not really changing much of my approach in terms of how I'm initially creating that raw sound. Now, there are physical changes, physiological changes that happen in here in terms of how the vocal cords vibrate and all that kind of stuff. Can't feel it, can't see it, so I'm not going to worry about it. This basic coordination of, yeah, is right. Don't try to fix that. It's not broken. If it works here, it'll work here. It'll work. Just listen. How does it feel? What am I hearing, right? Get the basic coordination correct. Like I said in my video where I said don't sing high notes, it's basically work on your middle and lower range because that's the bulk of where your singing is going to be. Everyone wants to do the high stuff because that's the more unobtainable. Seems like the more harder to do, so they want to do that first. Your middle and lower range is really where the bulk of the singing is. And that actually, the coordinations that go on there are the same coordinations that go on in the upper ranges. Some slight variations, but not much. So you want to get your more comfortable range that you can do now. Solid, balanced, and fluid. That will help you learn how to coordinate the upper ranges. Don't try to fix something that isn't broken. So a lot of my students, I never really take them past. If they want to sing up really high, up here, F sharp, G is as high as I go for a while. Until I hear that they're doing this in a very fluid, balanced, and thank you, Kimberly. A more fluid, balanced, very comfortable coordination. Then you can start to move them up in range. Because I say, well, what are you doing down here? Apply that up there. It's just like, you know, if you're delivering a punch to the body or a punch to the head, the basic coordination of a punch is the same. I'm just changing my elevation, basically. If I'm doing a straightforward punch like this, punch to the head, punch to the head, punch to the lows like that, it's the same basic movement. I'm just changing the elevation. I don't have to like swing my arm around this way to hit somebody in the head. Punch him in the jaw, punch him in the chest, punch him in the stomach. It's the same basic arm movement. I'm just changing the elevation. Same thing here, same basic movement. I'm just changing the vocal range. What comes in my course? It's just audio. There is no video to anything. I mean, well, in the vocal fire warm-up, I do some demonstrations of the exercises, kind of quick demonstrations. But it's mostly all just MP3s, audios. And I take you through a lot of what I'm explaining now, which is different coordinations of different sounds, different phonetics, different dynamics. Module 1, which is called CD1 when I sold them as actual CDs, was all about sort of lower to mid-range to set you up for the upper range. So if you can do the lower and mid-range and it sounds really good and solid, you're then prepared to do the upper range without it falling apart. And then the second part is more range extension, more head voice. And I said you apply what you learned in the lower ranges to the upper ranges. And because I said the bulk of your singing is going to be more in your upper mid-range, and lower ranges anyway, 10% of your singing will be in the higher ranges. So you want to concentrate more on the mid-range. There's an equal amount of exercises in both modules, but it's more dynamic. There's more dynamic stuff in the first part of it. The second CD, which is the second module, which is more about vocal range and head voice kind of stuff, is similar, but it's just about to open the voice. I didn't get what that was, whatever comment that was, it came and went. So I'm going on a little bit too long. I wanted to do 50 minutes. I'm now at 30 minutes. So I'm going to cut this up at 30 minutes. But so thank all of you who are watching. So there, if let me go back and take a look at this. I went through a whole bunch of really cool stuff about phonetics and how to change the tone of your voice without sacrificing clarity or depth, kind of counterbalance based on some kind of Jedi mind tricks you kind of play with yourself. Thank you all for joining me for this really quick live session here. It's just I had a half hour between students, so I figured I'd do something for you guys. Pop in and see who's around. So I got everybody from whoever it is, all the way down to Australia. Thanks for joining me. Okay, thank you, Jay Hill. Thank you very much for watching for so long, 2.5 years. Thanks, please. Share these videos. I'm working my way through this first year. A couple of weeks I've noticed a difference. Thank you, Chris. Bolivia, all the way from Bolivia, Australia. So going around the world. So cool. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. I'm going to cut out here. Let me give you one more little quick thing here in the last 30 seconds. Like I said, in any of the videos of mine, you can take a look at the links down in there. You get both my vocal courses just for $50. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and hawk my crap. But for being a cool person and watching these videos, watching these live lessons like this, my gift to you for tuning in, for watching my videos, subscribing, and be whatever, you can get both my vocal courses for just $50 if you follow the links in the videos down there. If somebody just stumbles upon my website where the stuff is, they pay twice that. So for you being a cool person and clicking on these videos, I give that gift to you. So, and I'm at 30 minutes. Okay, a quick little thing here. What I said about phonetics, right? Typical 5-tone scale. Instead of singing an open vowel sound, you know, la, use a circular word phrase like this, day by day. Day by day by day by day by day. This is teaching you how to compress and articulate with various vowel sounds. Day by day by day by day by day. Try to keep it sounding speechy. Day by day by day by day by day. Day by day by day by day by day. Day by day by day by day by day. Day by day by day by day by day. Day by day by day by day by day. Day by day by day by day by day. The words themselves help you grab and hold on to your compression. Secret number 1. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, this is Kevin Richards. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Till next time, see ya. Where's the camera? There it is.